There we go. Welcome to Exploring Hyperspace Lanes. I am Adam
And I'm Josie.
at this ungodly hour because Josie's only available in the early morning.
I'm sorry, but it is not that early.
It definitely is.
It is 9 o'clock.
Yeah, but you have to get up before 9 o'clock and get ready before 9 o'clock, and it's not as easy as you make it sound.
For your like 15-minute drive away.
Well, give or take, it was like 20, but I had to like get up and like I don't like leaving the house without like showering first. Like I've been told that's weird. I don't think it is. Like I just don't like leaving before like I shower. Like so
Do
it's
you have plans to get out of the car?
oh yeah.
Oh, then yeah, you would want to shower.
Yeah, like I think I'm going from here, depending on how long it is, to go see the new Bob Marley movie. Um because yeah, it's been
Because
very
yeah, okay.
it's been very light on content for Beware of Spoilers lately because there haven't been any TV shows that have like there's a Halo TV show, but I never played Halo, so I'm like, all right, well, what am I gonna say about this? And
You usually find something to say.
oh, is that so?
Yes.
Um, but yeah, so like either way, um, all right, let me rephrase that. I heard the first season of the Halo TV show wasn't good, and I've heard a lot of people who are Halo fans be like, "Oh my God, they're doing the Fall of Reach. This is great." And I'm like, I never played Halo. I don't understand what that is. So it's cool that you guys like that or not. Have fun with that. So, it's been kind of rough. And then it's like True Detective. I liked True Detective, but it's one of those things where we've talked about the issue on this show where if something's too good, it's hard to talk about. Like, because how much more can we blow this thing? Like, oh, that was our issue when we did like Empire Strikes Back. Like, it was like it was hard to talk about Empire Strikes Back because it's like, well, how much good can we say about this show?
All the good things.
Yeah. Um, and it's like every week, it's like it's a 6 episode series. It's like every week, it's like, well, Jodie Foster's a world class talent, and she's continuing to be a really good actress. And it's like, all right, well, what am I gonna do every week with that?
Well, it sounds like you just have a hard time saying good things about things.
No, I have no problem saying good things about things. I have a problem saying the same good thing about a thing 6 weeks in a row and making it sound different each time, and being like,
Mm.
and then it's like the other thing with True Detective is I watched the first season of True Detective when it came out 10 years ago, almost to the day. Um, and this season ties back to it, and there was no indication that it was going to tie back to the first season because it's a anthology show where each season is like it's True Detective, but here's a new cast doing a new case, and that's how it is every season.
Oh.
So I had no reason to expect that they'd be tying it back to the one 10 years ago, and they made no effort to say like, oh, by the way, we're tying it back to season one.
Hmm.
Um, and I was like, all right, well, you could have said something. Like maybe go back and watch season one before doing this. Like Peter had the right idea because he did that anyway.
Hmm.
But I don't have the time for that. Um, so how are you
Fine.
at this ungodly hour?
It is not ungodly. It's a very reasonable time
I'm also
to
not a
have
morning
already
person.
been awake
I'm also not a morning person.
for multiple hours.
Like
It's very reasonable.
that part of my problem is I'm not a morning person. Um, which at this point I feel like you should know about me. Um, like even
I
getting
think
to
you just
work,
like to complain.
I I have not discounted that theory. Um, I am one to complain. Um,
You're one with the complaining.
I am. I'm very good at complaining. I do
Hmm.
have good news though. Do you remember a few months back when we were doing this, we talked about credit scores?
Yeah, is yours better?
As of yesterday or as of Friday, I have paid off. two of the defaulted credit cards.
Oh my goodness.
So that's
Congratulations.
two down, five to go.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Stop getting credit cards. That's my
Well,
advice.
well, here was the
Jesus.
issue. I think we talked about this, but the issue was, now it's easy to not get credit cards because I will not get approved for them. But when I was in college, that was when I got all of these.
Why did you do that?
Because I don't know, like anytime
Why
that
wouldn't you just buy the things that you could afford?
any other bad investment, it's like, well, it's on you for making the bad investment, but like, what fucking bank was looking at like, well, he's a college student, he's making minimum wage at a fucking Walgreens. Like, it seems like a
Yeah,
good idea
he
to
was
give him
it was giving you the opportunity to build your credit.
it seems like a good idea to give this guy a $3,000 line of credit. Um, that
But
seems like a
why would
mistake.
you
That seems like a
spend
mistake
more
on
money
them.
than you could pay back?
Because I was 21 years old and stupid. Like, what do you
Yes,
like?
but I get that, but I was also 21 years old at this around the same time that you were,
All right,
and I did not make
don't make
that
it sound like you're
mistake.
substantially younger. You're like younger than me by like 4 months.
Yeah, I wasn't.
I
I was
was
just
also
saying
21 more recently.
I genuinely don't understand how it happens because it's not something that I did.
Well, because the thing was, it's like I needed to use it for like covering expenses, like using that to pay bills, using that to cover like groceries and stuff. It wasn't like I was going out and buying fun shit all the
I
time.
don't believe you.
Yeah, I know you don't
You
believe me.
used to send pictures all the time of all the random tat you'd buy.
Well, you're
Oh,
making it
oh,
sound a
oh,
lot
oh,
worse than it
oh,
was.
oh, oh.
But that was not the. I didn't buy that much random crap, and the random crap I
I
bought was cheap.
entirely disagree. That
Uh,
cheap and that adds up. So,
Like either way, regardless of how we got to this point, we are digging out
hey,
of this.
I'm glad for you. Happy for you. I
And
just,
in fairness, one of the cards was exclusively a what's it called? Was exclusively a card for Firestone. Like, and that wasn't a fun one. That was something where it's like I needed major repair on my car.
oh, that sucks.
Yeah, that was something different where it was like that was the snowstorm of 2018. I was going to work in this fucking blizzard, and I got to work and the parking lot wasn't plowed out yet,
Oh
and
no.
I went into the parking lot and it tore out my muffler.
Oh,
So that was like
you
seven
didn't
hundred
just get
dollars.
some zip ties and put it back on?
Um, well, I brought it to Firestone because I didn't know what was going on. Like I'm driving, and all of a sudden, I'm like, why does it feel like there's a truck tailgating me? Like it sounds like there's a truck like directly behind me. And then I get into the parking lot of Wendy's, and I'm in the drive-through, and I'm
And
like, God,
your
fuck,
muffler's just fucking
where the
dry.
where the fuck is that truck? I hear like I don't see it anymore. And then it's like I turn my car off in the parking lot, and I'm like, oh, fuck me. Like
Yeah.
so,
Aw,
so I was like, I don't know what to do. So I was like, all right, let's bring the Firestone. Firestone has my best interest at heart. They won't try to screw me on this.
that's not true.
That was like I went to get my inspection a few weeks ago because we had the annual inspection for your car, and mine's always in January.
Yeah.
So I go to get my inspection, and I brought it to Goodyear this time. And you know how you bring your car to get inspected? They always find every single fucking thing in your car that they could possibly fix, marked up to like the most extreme thing. So they come out, and the guy, you would have thought that like I was sitting in the waiting room of a hospital, and like my wife was in major, potentially life-saving surgery. The way this guy walked out and like sat down next to me, and he's like, "Okay, so we do need to make some repairs on your car." And I'm like, okay. So he's going through the list of shit, like, okay, well, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. And I'm like, okay,
You
so
and do you make it clear that you only want like the bare minimum to pass your
see,
inspection?
that's what we're getting to that. I said to him,
Okay.
like, I only want whatever it needs to pass the inspection. Whatever we need to do to pass the inspection, give me that. And he goes, okay, well, you just need one tire then. So your total inspection, oil change, and one tire is gonna be $400. And I'm like, that doesn't feel right,
Depends on
but
how expensive your tire is.
Yeah, but it's also a fucking like F Ford Focus. It's not like I'm driving a
Oh yeah, no, my Ford Focus was probably my cheapest tires.
one time I like the tire he replaced. Ironically enough, I had bought like under a year prior at Walmart for 100. So like another 300 for a tire was something that I was like, that doesn't seem right. But I'm not exactly in a position to argue with this gentleman. So let me just give me the tire and let me go home because I'd already been there for like two
Yeah,
hours.
he probably gave you a much better tire than you needed or wanted to buy.
Yeah, so I got fleeced, I
Oh,
think.
you
Um,
can argue. You can
um,
always
well, no, I
argue.
did argue. I argued down from $1,600 because there was all this other shit he wanted me to
But
do,
you
and
could
I
have
was
just
like,
said, okay, well, I'm gonna get a tire at somewhere that's cheaper, and then I'll come back, and then you can give me my clear inspection.
well, no, the issue is you gotta pay for the inspection twice then, and I don't want to do
Do
that.
you?
Yeah, you have to.
Like, are you sure about that?
Even if you fail the inspection, you got to pay the $35 or $38.
No, I know, but then you only have to pay it once.
No, you got to pay a second time. If
Are you sure?
like 98%, I'm getting less sure the more you say that, but I'm
Because in
like
New
90.
Hampshire, you don't.
Yeah, but also like more people have dog sleds than actual cars in New Hampshire.
That's not accurate, but anyway, you don't have to. So you
It's a
may
lot
want
cheaper
to.
to get a snowmobile inspected.
It's not. Um, so ours is about the same. It's like 35 bucks. And like you just have to go back with your receipt and say, hey, I already paid for my inspection. I did the things you said to do. And then they take a look and make sure that you did the things that they said to do. And then they give you the stickers.
Oh no, here it's an entirely new process. New
Are
York
you
is
confident about that? Like,
yeah,
are you 100% sure?
I am because I've seen my dad get really like, okay, we have to make sure the car is like do the repairs so that way we don't have to pay a second time. And I'm I'm fairly confident that this
You
is
should you should ask next time.
next time I get an
Because
oil
you probably have to
change.
do it every, not oil change, but like next time you get your inspection done, just ask.
Well, that'd be next January then, but
Oh,
I'm gonna forget by then
oh.
because it's inspection plus the other one. It's inspection plus it's safety plus emissions. So it's like $35, and then like, and that was the other thing too was the oil change. I'm like, give me your cheapest. Like, I usually go to Walmart to get my oil change, which don't. If you have a comment about that, keep it to yourself for now.
Why do you
Um,
go in January? That's not your birthday month.
because I bought my car in January.
Oh, it doesn't go by your birthday month?
No, it goes by whatever the car was last inspected. This car was inspected in January when I bought it because I bought it
Oh,
used. So it's based
weird.
out. It's 1 year from the last time it was inspected, and the first time that you had the car inspected was the day you bought it. So it's 1 year from the day you bought it, and then from then on, it's always
That's weird. All
yeah.
right.
So, um, but like I usually pay like $15 for an oil change. It was 80 because I said to him, "Give me the cheapest oil change," which is like 45, and he was like, "Okay." And then I look at the receipt and it's 80 for the oil change, and I'm like, he didn't listen to me.
And did you fight that?
Well, because I didn't realize until after I'd already left. Because I was like, let me see the breakdown of the
Oh,
price on this.
oh,
So,
oh. Have you learned from these experiences? Because I'm very concerned for you, and no wonder you lose your money.
what, stand up for myself occasionally?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
And
try to
that's
do
not
that.
just standing up for yourself. It's just like
Basic,
you
basic
said that
consumer
you wanted
protections.
something. Yeah.
Well, but here's the issue: is I don't know how to approach that because it's a service rendered. Like if it's something where it's like I want this, and then they bring
Then
it to
you
me, and I'm like,
say,
no, I didn't say
"Oh,
I
would you
wanted
like
that.
to know how to approach that?"
Yes, I would. How would I have?
Okay.
Because they had already done it at that point.
You say, "Hey, I see they gave me the $80 oil change. I said I wanted the one that was for 45. They did not listen to me, but I still want the one that was for 45. They rendered a service that you didn't ask for at a price point that you didn't okay. So
That's true.
you want the less money one. So take the money, take it off and give you the right price. Not your fault that they did the wrong thing. You told them what you wanted.
I mean, look, Goodyear's a struggling business. They need the money.
I had a
Anyway,
hard time with that laugh.
um, So yeah, so the car is inspected. It's still and look, I'll say this about the oil change. I'd be more mad if the car wasn't running more smoothly than it arguably ever
You know,
has.
next time you go to the next time you go and they give you what you want to get is an itemized list before you pay the bill, and then you can send it to me and I'll tell you what to tell them.
Okay,
Okay?
that's a good idea.
Yeah, you got it.
Because I don't know what to what's it called? What to I don't know anything about cars. It's
Yeah.
like I replaced my headlight on my car
And
by
I'll
myself.
have you'll have to ask questions, but you can say, um, you know what I do is I just go, yeah, I gotta send this to my dad, and then my dad takes a look at it. So you can say that.
That's a good idea.
And then just send it to me instead. And
Yeah,
then
I have this 4'9" friend in New Hampshire. She's gonna be able
yes.
to tell me what's wrong with this car.
I'm not gonna be
Um,
able to tell you what's wrong, but I will be able to tell you what's wrong with with the
9 out of 10
pricing.
times, I know if something's
Because if I
if
see an $80 oil change on there, I'm gonna go,
what the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm gonna go, did you get an $80 oil change on purpose? Like,
Because like 9 times out of 10, if I have a question about my car, I text Peter because either he knows stuff about cars or he's confident enough that it's like, well, he seems to know what he's talking about.
I
Like,
feel very confident on price points
okay.
for things, but I don't know how to like diagnose a car,
But like the
you
other
know.
thing you have to keep in mind is that the price points are different here because it's
But
like
that
everything is more expensive here.
um yeah, but it won't be like it's not gonna be I understand the difference. Like I'm
Hmm.
not gonna that's why I'm gonna ask you, did you get an $80 oil change? Like what fucking oil did you get?
Yeah,
Like
it's running on just like the blood of infants is what it's running on.
well,
Like,
I would assume that what they gave you like partial synthetic or full synthetic
I
based
think he
on
said
that price.
I think he said it was a blend.
Okay.
I'm like, sure, that sounds right. All right,
And you
do
should
whatever you
get a
got to do.
blend. It's better for your car.
I need to get other
But
fluids
only if
exchanged
you
too.
don't really do like lots of driving. Like I mean like how many miles do you put on your car in a week?
Uh, Going to and from work is about 15 each way, so 30 a day
Oh
for
boy.
weekdays. So 30 times 5 is 150 a week, and then
You do not
weekend
need
driving.
you do not need partial synthetic.
Oh, I don't.
No, you're not doing enough driving to need that. It is
Ah,
better for your engine, but you're not doing enough driving to need that.
yeah, I didn't think it was a necessary thing. I definitely didn't think an $80 oil change was a necessary thing.
But
Um,
your car gets up there in like mileage just to keep it going, you might want to consider switching to partial synthetic.
well, it's over 100,000 miles at this point. I got to do that 100,000 mile
Oh,
tune up
then partial synthetic's probably pretty good. I spend about 70 on mine.
on your oil change.
Yeah. Hey, can we take a small break? I have to take care of something real quick.
Oh God.
Sorry.
Hold on 1 second. Can I pause recording?
The puppies needed to go out.
Okay. It wasn't a home invader, which is what I said it was.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I paused the recording.
Thank you.
You had to go John Wick on some home invaders.
Yeah, I'm back though. They're dead.
They're dead. Um, so the Bad Batch does start this week though,
Oh, cool.
which it comes back for its final season. Which is the first thing I wanted to talk to you about. We may get to Dark Force Rising today. We may not. Wouldn't be the worst thing if we didn't, though. But the so with the Bad Batch, coming to an end, do you think this is the end of animated Star Wars? Like, I don't know how to define it because it's not like you know how they have like Young Jedi Adventure or New Republic Adventures or Young Jedi
Yeah.
Adventures or whatever it's called, which is like very much like a Disney Junior show but with Star Wars, like which is it's weird. That's the first um like visual adaptation of the Nihil in animation or live action is fucking Young Jedi Adventures. Um, and do you think this is the end of? animated Star Wars content for the foreseeable future, or do you think it's a secret project they haven't talked about yet?
Gosh.
This is definitively the last season of the Bad Batch. When it got renewed last year, they were like, season 3 will be the last season of the Bad Batch.
I can't imagine that they're done. But I don't think they're gonna I don't think the new thing will come out like soon.
I'm also increasingly less confident in this dovetailing in with um what's it called? With Heir to the Empire than I was last year when the show ended, season 2.
Uh-huh.
Because I was like, oh shit, they got what's her name? They got Omega at Wayland. Like that's fucking huge. Like, oh cool, that's Mount Tantus. That's where the Emperor's cloning facility was in the book Heir to the Empire, and all three of them. Like that's a huge location for them to be using. And it's like, all right, cool. So they got her there. This is gonna be, they're setting that up. I'm less confident in that. I'm starting to think that maybe there's not as much planning going on as we are indicating. Um, I do think we get another show, and I think it's also like this era adjacent because Filoni is obsessed with the original trilogy eras. Like,
Hmm.
I could also see them doing Rangers of the New Republic as an animated show, um, just to fuck what's her name, um, Gina Carano, who's suing now in the most pathetic lawsuit I've ever seen in my life. Um, like the we I don't think we really addressed the Gina Carano thing on here because I think the show started after she got fired. But for those who don't know, she played Cara Dune in what's it called in The Mandalorian in the first two seasons, and she was supposed to be headlining Rangers of the New Republic, which is going to be a live action show set around that time that was going to end up leading into the Heir to the Empire movie. Which is not officially called Heir to the Empire. We're just calling it that because that's kind of what the movie is, um, timeline wise, and with Thrawn as the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So she ends up getting fired for making insensitive comments about not trans people in general, which is what people make you try to make you believe, but specifically about Pedro Pascal's sister,
Okay.
who's transgender. And that is it's not a issue of politics, it's an issue of it's a hostile work environment for someone to be making open social media like fucked up comments about your co-star's sister.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so regardless of how you fall on it, like with that context, the firing's a little different. So she gets fired, and Ben Shapiro, the human Funko Pop toy who works over at the Daily Wire, ends up hiring her to work for his like weird studio for failed Hollywood actors, actresses, and screenwriters. And her first movie comes out, and it's this big movie about Hunter Biden, and she plays like the head of like the Secret Service or some shit like that. And it makes about $12 nationwide in theaters. So now she's begging for her job back at Lucasfilm via a lawsuit that's demanding not money for her wrongful termination, but demanding Lucasfilm bring her back.
Hmm.
So,
What
th-
going on?
yeah, so I think that show could get remade as an animated thing, and
Which
then just
show?
Rangers of the New Republic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, the Hunter Biden show. Like, no, I think that I think Rangers of the New Republic could get done animated. I think that's probably the most likely thing, and I think that that's a Star Wars Celebration announcement. Um,
Hmm.
if it is
Okay.
something like that. The other big thing that you weren't here for because you were, dealing with your personal stuff.
Jesus.
Well, the other thing was we have a new movie coming out,
Okay.
which you haven't been here to address. So, what are your thoughts
Exciting.
on the Mandalorian and Grogu?
Um, Cute, and I like them.
That's the name of the movie. I'm asking about the movie, not specifically those two
There's a
characters.
movie?
Oh yeah.
Oh, buddy, I don't know nothing about this.
So they announced this about a month ago. The movie's called The Mandalorian and Grogu. It
Okay.
is being directed by Jon Favreau. It is
Okay.
happening instead of season 4 of The Mandalorian, and it's a
Oh,
theatrically released movie coming out in 2026, May 2026. May
interesting.
22nd, I think, is the exact date.
That sounds
Um,
cool. Hopefully it doesn't.
so,
Hopefully it's good.
um, I'm cautiously optimistic.
I
Um,
like that.
I'm not thrilled about the production
You don't
timeline.
normally have optimism, so
No, I
that
don't. Um, but my my
that's a good
one
sign.
my one issue is they're starting to shoot it this summer.
Okay.
The movie comes out in May
Oh.
of not next
Well,
year,
they
the year
already have
after.
everything. Well, that's because they already have everything started.
Well, think of
So
it.
I guess we wouldn't, let's assume that there's probably not going to be like too many updates to costumes,
Right. There's gonna be
or
minor updates to
visuals.
sell new toys.
Yeah, and um, minor updates for like the surrounding. I don't even know if they would really. I mean, so just assume that we're going to see the same scenery,
Well,
you
I don't
know?
know. Well, number one, do you recast Carl Weathers? Um,
Who's Carl Weathers?
he plays Grief Karga, the guy who lives on what the fuck's the name of that planet? The guy who played Apollo Creed, who's in the movie, who's in the show.
Buddy, no.
The guy who always greets him Mando like that every time he comes in.
Oh, yeah, yeah, him.
Yeah, he Carl Weathers died in real life. Like, do you
Oh,
recast him or do you just, you
I
know,
think they kill him off.
like off screen, just like he got
Yeah,
blown up by a an orbital laser.
he just never came back or something. Yeah, I
He
don't
he
know.
returned to his home planet.
No, no,
Um,
like he went out on a mission and he never came back. Go.
but
Like, I don't know.
he
Probably. I don't think they would recast him. That
but
would
yeah,
be weird.
I I don't see my issue is I feel like my number one problem is I feel like the Mandalorian story arc is done. Like for Din Djarin. Like I
Okay.
could see him coming back for a crossover in Heir to the Empire, but I feel like his story was very much tied to Gideon, and I feel like that has run its course. I don't know how you do a
Hmm.
movie about that.
Hmm. I don't
Um,
know.
and also take into consideration where we are in terms of this overall narrative. This year we're getting Skeleton Crew, which is the same time period, which I don't know how closely that's gonna tie. And then there's also uh the Acolyte, but that's way early. Then next year we have Andor season 2.
Hmm.
We don't
And
have
boring.
we're not getting into this again. We don't have a what's it called? Like Ahsoka season 2 will likely not be out before this movie comes out, assuming this movie
Okay.
holds the May date. If that's the case, how does, you know, I don't think that the world as established in this time really holds space for another Mandalorian story like for Din.
Okay.
Like I I think that we finished his story pretty well. Like if this is switching and it's like, oh, and now it's gonna be Bo-Katan and Grogu doing shit, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm here for that. But I don't think there's anything for Din to do. I think Din has found his piece and Din has found his place. I
Well, I
don't
mean, I think there is. I mean, he's also determined that he's gonna just be there for Grogu. So like he's
right.
probably just gonna follow Grogu around on his antics.
But like
Like that's what's gonna happen.
here's my thing is this is very much like I feel that where Din was left off at the end of season 3 is very much like Iron Man at the end of Iron Man 3. where it's like
Ugh.
he's made peace with who he knows who he is, and he knows like deep down what he is as a person. Like he understands that about himself fundamentally. He has reached the end of that journey. So he can still have smaller character arcs in other movies where he shows up to help out. Like if he show like when he shows up inevitably in the Heir of the Empire movie, he can have an arc there and he can do something there. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that there's like an entire movie for him because what more is there for Din to learn about himself?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like
Yeah,
he's
he probably won't be a huge role. I mean, like you said,
I
there's
would
no
hope so.
character.
He's a title character.
Well, I mean, but he's gonna be more like a sidekick.
He see that's what I think it's gonna end up being. It's gonna be this movie is gonna be the training montage from Mulan for Grogu
Yeah.
to get him to a point where he's competent enough to hold his
Yeah,
own in whatever comes next.
right. And it might
Um,
even be about the Mando's journey into like maybe the rebellion or something.
yeah, or we could get, like I think we should still like I think they should still, do I think they should bring back Bo-Katan if they're gonna do anything. Because like that's a character arc that I'm interested in.
Hmm.
Like I'm interested to see because she still has places to go after season 3 of The Mandalorian. There's
Hmm.
still room to grow there, but I don't really need him. Like and I don't think that's a problem that I don't need him. I think his character he's good. He's found his peace. He's found what he wants to do.
Right.
I don't like
But I
he's
mean, that's kind of what happened with like Captain America and everything, but then he still was in the Avengers and like just his whole arc was just I fight crime now.
right, but that's the point is that he wasn't headlining another movie after as the
Right.
main character.
Oh, that's true. But he was like one of the main characters.
Right, but it wasn't and by and
I
large
see
the
what you're
story of the
saying.
crossovers are there's a bigger arc and then we're bringing all these characters together and they have these smaller character arcs. Like Tony does still have a recurring character arc throughout the post Iron Man 3 era. Like
Hmm.
about accountability and all of that. Like I just don't think the vision is there for this big multimedia thing they have going on in the same way it was for phases 1, 2, and 3 of Marvel,
Okay.
which is very clearly what they're trying to emulate, but with Star Wars, which I'm fine
Right.
with. Like, which I like, if they could pull it off, I'm fine with it. I've said it before. I never root against stuff. I want because I watch
I
anything
just the
anyway.
way you talk though, it does not sound like
Well, no, it's like I have hesitation about things, but I always want it to be good.
Yeah,
Because good or bad, I'm sitting in the theater day one to watch it anyway. For
right.
because it's my job. Like I fucking Wednesday, I'm sitting in an IMAX theater watching Madam Web. Like it's one of those things where I'm sitting there and I'm like I was sitting because Wednesday was Valentine's Day and also Ash Wednesday for those in the Catholic community.
Yeah, I heard
So
about that.
yeah. So like I'm sitting there and I'm not a religious person. Um, but I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, like, it'd be really funny if I die and and I'm sitting there and I had to explain, like, so it was Ash Wednesday, and instead of going to church, you went to an IMAX screening of Madam Web. Why? Like, it
Well, you mean like you explaining that at the pearly gates?
yeah, it's just like one like I don't know like it but either way it's like that movie was not great and it's like I want a good movie like I'm not I don't relish bad movies like I want every movie to be good or every show to be good because I'm gonna watch it anyway.
Okay.
Like this week
Well,
Avatar: The Last Airbender comes out.
do you have any more predictions for Mandalorian and Grogu movie?
um I think this is the beginning of Disney doing that thing they do every time a TV show gets past 3 seasons where they rebrand it so that way they don't have to pay the actors as much. Um,
Oh,
because that's like if you ever watched you watched Disney Channel as a kid, right?
yeah.
Did you ever notice that like anytime a one of the live action
Yes.
shows, yeah, they always rebranded where it's like Sweet Life of
Yeah.
Zack and Cody, Sweet Life on Deck, and then it was like,
Yep.
and the reason for that is once you hit season 4, all your actors need to get a pay bump, unless you
Oh.
rebrand the show as a new show with the same cast
Mm-hmm.
and it's entirely different, but not at all. Um,
Right.
which is what they ended up doing. So like that's why you end up with Hannah Montana Forever and Sweet Life on Deck, and I feel like
Yeah.
there were other ones like that.
There are definitely other ones. Like the That's So Raven, not like
Oh,
when that was
they had one like that.
yeah,
Um,
all the way back then.
yeah, but like yeah, shit like that is how they get around it, and it's one of those things where it's like that could be what this is because if you rebrand, and it's what they tried to do at CW with Arrow where Arrow got to
Mm-hmm.
season 9, and granted it's a very different thing, but they could have just done season 10 of Arrow with the new cast with
Mm-hmm.
Mia and all that, but you would have had to pay Katie Cassidy and I forgot the other actress's name a lot of money because they've been on the show for like since the beginning. But if you
Mm-hmm.
rebrand it as Green Arrow and the Canaries, you don't gotta pay them as much. You go back
Oh,
to
okay.
season 1 scale. Um, and granted, they wouldn't be getting SAG scale because like their agent would be like, "What are you fucking nuts?" But
Yeah.
they wouldn't be able to demand the same amount of money they'd be able to demand for season 10 of a TV show.
Right.
Um, so that's what I think this is also, where it's like we end up with a what's it called? We end up with a Mandalorian and Grogu is going to be season 1 is going to be right after this.
Okay.
Not right after, but it's going to be after this.
Hmm.
Um, and
That's an interesting idea.
I also don't think the movie's gonna do well financially, just based on past history at the box office.
You don't think
Um,
so? Even you don't think that it will, even if they don't make like a crap ton in the beginning? Because I mean, they've already got everything paid for pretty much. I
See,
mean,
that's the thing.
sounds like they're throwing this movie together. So,
Ideally, they should be able to keep the budget under 100 million because a lot of the stuff is already there. You don't have to pay production design. You don't have to pay any of that. You've got all that done.
right.
Um, what I mean is at the box office, I think the movie doesn't get past 750 million. Um, because it's coming out 2 or 3 weeks after Kang Dynasty,
Oh.
um, which I don't think is a great move, and also I don't think Kang Dynasty is holding that date,
Mm-hmm.
because that's 20 like if they're shooting The Mandalorian and Grogu and that's May 2026 and they're shooting that this summer and they're not shooting an Avengers movie this summer for a 2026 release date,
Mm-hmm.
it's not coming out in 2026. I think it's getting delayed a year. Um, if it does hold, It, I think it could run into the Batman wall because I think that 2026 is when we get Brave and the Bold. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the first Batman movie under the DCU, if Superman Legacy does well, that could be a potential wall for it. I don't know the exact release date for that offhand. I think it is June. Um, but that could be something it runs into.
Hmm.
And I think also that June 2026 is supposed to be Toy Story 5,
Okay.
which is another thing that I'm like, I don't know if that's going to be the thing that's going to do it. Especially if I think the biggest thing that's going to hurt it if it holds the date is going to be Kang Dynasty, because after that Deadpool and Wolverine trailer,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think Wolverine. I've heard they want to pull Wolverine for Kang Dynasty from the beginning and not just Secret Wars. Like they want him
Oh,
in there from the beginning, and they want Tobey Maguire in from the beginning. And
really?
if you're gonna have both of them in that movie, that's gonna make anyone who was a kid
People
in
are
early
losing their
two
gonna lose
thousand,
their mind.
that movie's gonna make $3 billion.
Yeah.
Like that
Oh,
that's
yeah.
something like
Oh.
No Way Home made 2 billion, and that was the tail end of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talk about the movie that saved theaters, quote unquote, being Top Gun Maverick. That was 6 months after No Way Home made $2 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, if that movie made 2 billion, then a movie with him and Wolverine, and also more MCU characters.
Mm-hmm.
that movie's gonna make a fuck ton of money. And
Hmm.
that movie is gonna have legs. So one of them is gonna move, and I think it's gonna be Marvel's gonna want to move the Kang Dynasty back a year, so that way everyone else knows get the fuck away from us because you will be run over.
Right.
Like
Um, so what's our Star Wars topic for the day?
we've been talking about Star Wars up until now too, for a good amount of this.
Okay, well, there was no dig at that. You can relax.
You don't have to get
You've been a
defensive
little, you've been a, you've been pretty miffy this morning, huh?
and testy.
Goodness gracious. You were always like, yeah, I said, oh, hello, can you hear me? And you're like, yeah, well, that was evident by blah, 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 blah."
All right,
That's
well,
you.
I'm I'm tired. You asked me to
Oh,
get up at an ungodly hour. I was up until 3 in the morning
oh.
playing Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi.
Okay, then this is entirely your fault. You could have gone to bed at a more reasonable hour. You knew about this since yesterday. Don't
I
take
was
your bullshit
working
out on me, sir.
I was working on something for a YouTube video. Okay, well, technically, um, down the
Now I
line.
don't believe you. So quit taking your bullshit out on me, dude.
Um, Dark Force Rising is our topic for today.
Okay.
The book from what's his name? Timothy Zahn.
Mm-hmm.
The man, the myth, the legend who saved. Like it's not. He was the one who saved the Star Wars franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Um, so sorry. So this is part of
Heir of the Empire.
the, huh?
Heir of the Empire.
Yeah, you were talking about Dark Force, right?
Yeah,
Dark Force, it's a th are we on three? Are we doing book one or the
book
whole
two.
series?
No, book
We're
two.
on book two?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Hang on, I'm bringing
Then
up
I
my
have, give me just a moment.
5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, the fragile Republic was born with the defeat. That was born with the defeat of Darth Vader, the Emperor, and the infamous Death Star stands threatened from within and without. The dying Empire's most cunning and ruthless warlord, Grand Admiral Thrawn, has taken command of the remnants of the Imperial fleet and launched a massive campaign aimed at the Republic's destruction. With the aid
And
of unimaginable weapons long hidden away by the Empire on a backwater planet, Thrawn plans to turn the tide of the battle, overwhelm the New Republic, and impose his iron rule throughout the galaxy. Meanwhile, dissension and personal ambition threaten to tear the Republic apart. As Princess Leia, pregnant with Jedi twins, risks her life to bring a proud and lethal alien race into alliance with the Republic. Han and Lando Calrissian race against time to find proof of treason inside the High Republic Council, only to discover a ghostly fleet of warships that could bring doom to their friends and victory to their enemies. But the most dangerous of all is a new dark Jedi, risen from the ashes of a shrouded past, consumed by bitterness, and thoroughly, utterly insane. Now he schemes to use his awesome mastery of the Force to summon young Skywalker, allay his misgivings, and cunningly enthrall him, and ultimately corrupt him to the dark side. A tale of brilliant spectacle. Oh, this is just blowing the book now. We don't have to get into that. But yeah, that's the back cover of the book, courtesy of Wikipedia.
okay. So,
Okay.
um, so, um, what do you think of it, I guess?
Um, I think that this one ultimately falls into like middle book syndrome or middle entry in a trilogy syndrome, where it's like I think it's forgettable.
Yeah. Um, but you always gotta love a whenever there's a Lando and Han adventure.
Yes, and I think too, it's like this is the one where we start to get into Mara
I think
Jade's
it's
backstory a little bit.
I actually I guess I beg to differ because I think what it does is it actually disappears because of how well it fits into the story.
Right.
And so like it's not a bad thing, but it's also not the most eventful. It does provide a lot of you just kind of there's nothing huge and crazy in the middle book. It just helps you get from the first to the last book.
Right. And I think that
And
that
I don't
is
think that that's bad. in a book
No,
series.
it's not bad, but it is something where it's like if we're gonna be looking at if we're gonna be taking it as a book within the larger Star Wars universe, within the context of everything that came before and after,
That's true.
like it is something where it's like it's weaker because it's like it's kind of stuck in that, well, it's ultimately not going to have a satisfying resolution because it's
Hmm.
building toward the next one. And ultimately it's going to, because it's a trilogy, like
Yeah.
ultimately this is going to be the building
But
block to the finale.
I do think though that as little books go, this is pretty good.
Oh yeah, I enjoy this one. And I think that like getting into the semantics of what went on with the Nogri is cool. I think that getting into the, a lot of the ideas here, even if they are decanonized by the prequels, are really interesting for the kind of world that existed before um the fall of the Jedi.
Hmm.
Like I would argue the world of the Jedi before the Empire, as defined in this book, is a lot more interesting than what we actually got in the prequels.
I agree.
Like the way the Clone Wars are defined, the idea of these dreadnoughts, the this Grand Army of the Republic, all of this stuff, it actually works really well.
Hmm.
Um, it's just and none of it was used in canon. And then what ended up happening was, you end up with Outbound Flight, which is an attempt to retrofit all this stuff in and make it kind of fit together.
Mhm.
When it really doesn't. Um, but and the thing is too, it's like this book doesn't get into the weird fascist apologist angle of it either, which is definitely something that's come into a lot of what happened later on with the Emperor. Like that's something that I've noticed as I'm reading through some of this stuff, is that there's a lot of like, well, the Emperor had a reason for being a fascist asshole. It's like, well, I don't think we really need that. like
Yeah.
like that's the whole issue. That's a big issue I have with a lot of the extended universe, where it's like, well, he was doing it because he was trying to protect everyone from the Yuzhan Vong, and it's like, yeah, no, but it's still fascism. Like
Hmm.
either way, it's like I think that this is a solid book. But like when we look at the list of books that we've done so far, because it's kind of a middle one, it doesn't quite fit in properly.
Hmm.
Oh shit, we never did End
I'm
of the Empire.
I'm in agreement.
Um, or maybe we did. I didn't put it on the list. Um,
Whatever.
oh no, we did. Okay, we have it at number one. I guess didn't add it to that little list down there. Okay.
Do you have any more insights on this book or thoughts?
I think that I wish that we could get AU content in this alternate universe, like alternate prequel content based on this
A
world. Because
what?
I like alternate prequel content based on this world.
Okay.
Like, because I really love the way it's designed. I love the espionage angle, which is very clearly being mirrored in Ahsoka. Um, with that one guy on the council who's very clearly an Imperial spy. Um,
Hmm.
like the everything about this is just so well done. And I think that like Thrawn as a villain in this is so well written in a way that
I
he
agree.
isn't anywhere else, and specifically in this trilogy, he's
Hmm.
written very well because we've talked about this before with a character
This is
who's,
my favorite version
yeah,
of Thrawn.
because it's like we've talked about it before with the idea of you can have a character who's really smart and knows a lot about what's it called, and know and that's their superpower, quote unquote, is that it's like,
Right.
oh, they're really smart, so they know what the
There
other
was
guy,
Sherlock.
right, they know what's gonna happen, and a lot of times it can just come off like, okay, well, his superpower is he has the script, and like the
Hmm.
example I always use for this is in the Flash, um they in season four they did the Thinker as the bad guy, and one of the things that happens is integral to his plan is that an alternate version of Black Canary from a Earth that no one knew about that was an alternate universe where the Nazis won World War II, was going to come to Earth One, and that was integral to his plan. And I'm like, there's no way he knew this was going to happen. There's
Yeah.
just no fucking way. Like, it's just the only way he knew it was going to happen is because the plot dictated that he knew it was going to happen. But here, whenever they have Thrawn know what they're going to do, it's not because he's peering through, the universe and being like, well, I can see it. It's always
Yeah.
like, well, here's how they always act. And because they always act this way, we can assume with a reasonable degree of certainty that they're going to do X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even like Ahsoka Thrawn didn't have that, and Thrawn in Rebels didn't have that, and
Mm-hmm.
Thrawn in Ascendancy didn't have that, and Thrawn in the other one, the other Thrawn trilogy didn't have that.
I
Um,
agree.
like this is the best iteration of him is this trilogy. Um, I'm gonna omit Visions of the Past and or which Echoes from the Past, Visions of the Future, whatever it was called. Um, you know what I'm talking about? Those two other ones. That wasn't really Thrawn. That was the actor pretending to be Thrawn.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it. There's a lot of really cool ideas in here that I wish they could find a way to bring into canon.
Mm-hmm.
Because like fucking Mara Jade is just such a cool character. Like, there's
This
no.
is this series probably falls pretty high on like my favorite series
Oh
like
yeah,
list. Yeah.
because
Easily.
it feels like a trilogy that was planned.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't want to say the other trilogies weren't planned. And I'm also like, if you're not reading the High Republic, I think you're missing out. I think the High Republic's doing a lot of really cool stuff too. Um, because like I love the way they're characterizing in Hill. I love the way they're doing all of that. Um, but I think this is definitely one of the best trilogies. And this is just the weakest of the three, but it's not a bad book.
No,
Because
I
there are bad Star Wars books, and we will get to those, like Crystal
mm-hmm.
Star and Courtship of Princess Leia. Um, but
Yeah.
goddamn, like there's just so much good in this trilogy.
Mm, I Hey, we
Um,
agreed on things.
we agree fairly often.
We do.
But let's look at our ranking and see where we're gonna rank this. So we currently have 25 entries on our list. Um, so let's just break this. Let's parse this out a little bit so we don't have to read the entire thing. Do you think this is top 10?
Probably not top 10.
Well, you
Pretty
want
like me just under the top. Whatever. It's our top 10.
Well, our top 10, number 10 is Jedi Fallen Order, number 9 is Jedi Survivor, number 8 is Dooku Jedi Lost, number 7 is Tales of the Jedi Season 1, number 6 is Kenobi Under Protest from me, number 5 is Heir to the Empire, number 4 is
I
Return of the Jedi, number 3 is Revenge of the Sith, number 2 is A New Hope, number 1 is Empire Strikes Back.
what did put the first book? Where did we put that?
Heir to the Empire was number 5.
Okay. I think you could and Kenobi was 6.
Yeah,
I would put it above Kenobi.
yeah, I would say so. Kenobi being that high is going to fuck everything
It will
up.
go down. It will go down. We did have a very big last time.
We did what?
Well, or we didn't have a big list when we did Kenobi.
No, but at the time we did have Kenobi over Andor, which is a problem.
It's not because Andor fucking sucked.
No, Andor
Mm.
sucked if you don't have an attention span.
Mm.
If you think Andor sucks, that says more about you than it does about Andor. I hate to say it.
Okay. Well, I'm not the only person in the world with ADHD.
Well, no, but also a lot of what ADHD really did like Andor.
Maybe. I
Um,
guess we'll never know.
well, either way. Um, so I don't have a schedule anymore. So next week we will do. Do we do? Are you gonna go see Phantom Menace in theaters in May
Probably.
for the anniversary? They're putting it out in theaters.
If it if it's playing near us, then yes.
They're doing the 25th anniversary, and I'm gonna go see that.
If it's playing near us, then probably yeah.
See, that's the good thing about living in civilization is that if you have a 17 screen theater, they very rarely don't play things.
Hmm.
Um,
That sounds very interesting.
so are you going to see Dune Part 2?
I don't know if I'll see it in theaters. That one will depend on if I have somebody to go with or not, and if they want to go.
Oh,
I will not
you
choose
won't,
to go myself, but
oh, you don't go to the movies by yourself?
I do not. Also, it's not one that I would like. "Oh, I gotta rush to the theater to see
Oh,
it."
this,
Like, I liked the movie. It was good.
people have been comparing this one to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Because the massive battles are on the scale of like the Two Towers and Return of the King.
Oh, okay.
Um, and like this is everything I've heard about this movie so far is it's gonna be the best movie of the year probably. Um,
Did I think the popcorn thing is funny?
oh yeah, 100%.
So
And
you'll be getting with extra butter.
every time I go to AMC, that popcorn bucket calls to me like the Green Goblin mask.
You get it?
No, yeah,
Because
I
if you
buy it
don't get
every
it, you're
time.
gonna immediately look like did you have you bought it once?
No,
Okay, I was gonna say 'cause you can't buy it by your because then you just immediately look like you're a
I go
per
fuck it.
you immediately like a pervert.
Like I've never bought. I've bought the like we have. I go to AMC usually, um, but I've bought the AMC custom. I've bought the showcase cups because those are nice and they're like machine washable and you can use them as cups. So I got one
Hmm.
for like Spectre, but AMC only has popcorn buckets and I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna use this for if I buy it? Like,
Well,
and it's not even specifically the Dune one, where it's like, yes, you can use the flashlight apparently.
I
Um,
think you can bring them in.
yeah,
You
no,
can bring them back to the theater
I'm
after you
already,
clean them,
I'm
and
already
then
an
you can
A-list
just you
member.
can pay for the refill.
I'm already an A-list member on a first name basis with the woman at the front desk. I don't need to also bring my own popcorn bucket. I feel like that's a bridge too far.
Oh, oh, they recognize you?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they recognize
oh,
me and the woman who makes the burrito at the Cabo Fresh in the shopping center where it is
yeah.
knows me at this point.
Oh, and
Because
do
I'll
they know you by name, just by face?
No, she knows me by face. She knows what burrito I get. But at AMC, they're supposed to ID you for A list, to make sure it's not someone else using your A list account. And
Oh.
she's just like, I know you. Just go ahead.
Why
I'm like, I'm here
do
twice.
you make it sound like I'm so disappointed?
I'm here twice a week anyway. Just fuck it. Just. But
What do
yeah,
you
I'm
get for a
seeing
burrito?
steak, pico, rice, white rice. What was it? Sour cream and cheese.
Oh boy,
What?
that is a white ass burrito.
No, I'm not. I'm not denying that's a white burrito. Well, funny you should mention that. Like,
I'm just gonna
I am what?
leaving it there for you.
Um,
Um,
what was it? So for those of you who listen to the other podcasts, this week this is going up on Wednesday, as usual. For the rest of the week, we have Drive Away Dolls on Friday. Tomorrow morning on Beware of Spoilers, we'll be talking about the Bad Batch season 3, the first 3 episodes. And then on Sunday, we'll be doing Dune Part 2, because I'm going to an advanced screening on Sunday. Um,
yeah.
So that'll be on Sunday. We also have there's something opening against Doom, but I forgot what it was. I don't know who's dumb enough to do that. But yeah. Um,
Okay.
Also on the backlog files, we will be doing Pokemon Gold and Silver next Tuesday. As we continue to rank all the Pokemon games. And
Oh
then
boy.
next Friday we're also it's been a lot more fun than you would think.
Yeah.
And also next Friday we're going to be doing retrospective on Dune and video games. And Peter and I will be doing our Dune Part 2 review, our lengthy Dune Part 2 review. If you listened when Dune Part 1 came out and we did a 3 hour episode about Dune Part 1, get the fuck ready. I feel like this is going to be as long.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, he is someone he goes deep on Dune too.
Does he?
Oh yeah, we both have read all of the main books. the 6 main books.
Okay.
But we will wrap up there for today because my laptop is dying.
And I have to go shopping. I'm gonna try to get a boba tea while I'm out.
I think I see the annoying thing is KFC is not open, and I
It's not for
no
breakfast?
they
Oh,
what breakfast did I make at KFC?
maybe I'm thinking of Chick-fil-A.
Oh, well, either way, I want the peach Mountain
Oh.
Dew.
Oh, that's gross.
That shit's good.
Did you hear that Mountain Dew did Baja Blast as alcoholic?
Yes, I did hear that.
Okay, there's a store in Vermont. It's only like a 2-hour drive for me. I
That's too
am
long of a drive for liquor.
I am absolutely going to do that this summer to get my hands on that
Like
alcoholic Baja
I
Blast.
would
And
I
I'm
would
just gonna have to
argue
buy like multiple cases of it to make it worth it.
any drive longer than 20 minutes for alcohol
Well, I'll go do something else.
in in
Like
Vermont.
it's Vermont. There's probably it's probably a cute town. Like I'll probably go shopping.
You go to the liquor store in the town. I
No,
drove
no,
all
it's
the way.
actually at a gas station. It's like at a country store.
I drove 2 hours to go to a gas station so I could get
But I'll probably go
alcoholic
and check her
Baja
out the
Blast.
town. Yeah.
It's like you stepped onto a
Oh,
set of
oh,
Deliverance.
oh. Have you also heard that there's going to be Baja Blast um gelato
I did
coming
hear
this
that.
year at Taco Bell?
I did
Oh
hear
my
that.
God,
God hates us.
I will be standing in line for that.
I don't know if God
Because
hates
it's
us,
only
but
gonna be good the first time that they have it, because after that it's gonna be gross and like
oh,
because
after
they're
that it's gonna be gross.
well, yeah, because they're going to open it on day one. And on day one, that's the only time it's going to be edible because I'm assuming that not a lot of people are going to order it. So on day two, it will start to crust over. And then it's not like they're going to make it new every day or open a new container. They're going to finish that fucking container and then get rid of it. And then open a new one. And then when's my next chance to get the new opened container? Can you follow me?
I understand what you're saying. I'm trying to figure out what time McDonald's serves breakfast until.
Oh my God.
So we'll wrap up there
I
for
listen
today.
to your shit.
Well, no, I was still listening. I understand the concept of ice cream crusting over. Like, yes, I understand how that works.
Oh,
But we'll wrap up there for today. Until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.
bye.